The show's called Job Talk 1. They can't find Steve. They can't find Steve and Tommy. Tommy Cairns, my partner here on the show, we call Job Talk 1. They can't find the music to it. So my old music was, which I loved, but nobody else loves country music but me. So I'd play country music. Big shout out to you, Aaron. I know you're listening to the show. And we have on the phone 298-5487 a caller that called in because I said I was going to give away free Jersey mics, which I am. And welcome to the show. What is your name, my dear? What is your name? Hello. She hung up? All right. Waiting for Liz Ryan to call from the Human Workplace. So
yep, I'm here.
Oh, is this Liz?
This is Liz.
Oh, hi, Liz. Welcome to Job Talk 1. How are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, I'm great. Welcome to Southern California. So my co-host, Tom Cairns, just to give you a little background, was the HR director for Homeland Security prior to under the Bush administration. And prior to that, he was the HR director for NBC Studios. He's my partner here on the show. And then in the studio is the owner of Jersey Mike's, Steve
Julius.
I know what your last name is. Julius. So we're all here excited to hear what you have to say. This is Liz Ryan, everybody, the owner of Human Workplace. And I got to just tell everybody in Southern California, it is such a cool, refreshing, different website. If you have a chance to go to humanworkplace.com, do it. It's a different looking site, but I think you're going to like it. So congratulations on your website, girl.
Oh, thanks.
So let me get into a little bit about you and what you do. How did you, this is the only show in America that talks about careers, jobs, all the things that go on in the workplace. But you are considered America's guru. I mean, I've seen you on Fox, you're on all these television shows talking about all kinds of stuff. How did you get started?
Well, I was an HR person, corporate and startup HR leader for thousands of years. I mean, I kind of fell into HR. It wasn't my background. You know, I never went to school for it. I'm an opera singer, sort of at heart. You know, that's my background. I went to conservatory. But like a lot of people, I got a job, and the job led to another job, and I fell into it. And I ended up running HR for a Fortune 500 company, U.S. Robotics, and growing companies from tiny to huge. So I kind of was raised by wolves as an HR person because I never worked for an HR manager.
Don't be stealing my lines. I was raised by wolves, but go ahead.
Well, there you go. So maybe, you know, there you go. So I didn't realize that what I was doing as an HR leader all those years was not standard. I didn't have a point of reference. I did what seemed to make sense to me, which was to help grow the business by making the place a great place to work and recruiting great people and kind of standing back and letting them do their thing. So we didn't do all the stuff. I never had an attendance policy with 10,000 employees. People came to work, and we didn't. It was not an issue. Turnover was not an issue. Retention, which is a crappy, made-up term for employers that don't know how to create an environment that would keep people there naturally. I mean, people don't leave their jobs for no reason.
All right, stop it. I got to ask you a question. You're on this. You just hit a high mark here. Great place to work. So Steve, who owns Jersey Mike's, has 5 stores right here in our backyard. Everybody that will tell you that goes in the store, it's a great place to eat, but it's a great place to work. Liz, what is a great place to work? Describe it, please.
Jersey Mike sounds like in Santa Clarita. You know what I mean?
No, it's okay. True, but what is a great place? I love what you just said. What is a great place to work?
Okay, it's a place where you are hired because you're smart enough to do your job without someone breathing down your neck. It's a place where you're treated like a human being at work, not like a number or a drone or a production unit. It's a place where your time outside of work is respected, your obligations to your family, your community are respected, obviously. It's a place where people are paid fairly and where people have fun and where they believe that the company will prosper when everybody's having more fun. It's a very simple model. It's human. It's the way we do all kinds of other non-work activities like being on a sports team or, in my background, being in a theatrical production. We're not talking about you're in trouble or you're on probation or you didn't hit your marks or you were 3 minutes late. We're completely focused on the mission and supporting one another. It's way more fun, way more profitable, way more human. It's really, as far as I'm concerned, just the logical way to structure a workplace. Unfortunately, however, almost all large organizations, and sadly, even many small organizations have adopted this, sort of factory model, this industrial revolution model where you treat people like production units, cogs in a big machine, and you measure them and poke and prod at them and constantly remind them they could be replaced. And it's a fear-based model, and it doesn't work, and it's not profitable, and it's a disservice to shareholders.
Wow, her name is Liz Ryan. The website is Human Workplace, and I'm telling you, when you go there, you can watch her videos. Wonderful feedback. Steve, give me your feedback.
Yeah, I love what you said, Liz. I mean, one of the things that we do is that we sit down with each one of our employees. Most of them are in high school or the junior college here, and we'll sit down with them at the beginning of every, let's say, semester, and we will ask them specifically what their personal schedule is like, what commitments they have to sports, other activities in their life, and we work the schedule around them. So they have input as to when they're available to work, and we work around that. And the other thing we do then is that schedule is then in place for the entire semester, so they know that their job is something that they can that they have on those specific dates, and they can plan their schedules accordingly. I think that's one of the things that these employees just really appreciate.
Liz, this is Tom.
I think it's awesome.
This is Tom. Liz, I just wanted to ask you a question, kind of ironic a little bit, is that a lot of the companies that young people today would see that they've grown up with had that kind of boundaryless mentality where you mentioned, no absentee policy and other sorts of things. And then as they matured as businesses, they started to add quote unquote that infrastructure today, and it sounds like a disconnect. And what you're really saying is, why don't you return to the days of when you really first began and did that work for you? So how do you do that when you are a startup? It's easy to see, but then as you mature, what should a company be thinking about?
First of all, I love your accent, Tom. Where are you from?
New Jersey.
Yes, I could tell. We got Jersey Mike. We got Tom from Jersey. What part of Jersey?
Trenton.
Okay, I'm from North Jersey, Montclair.
Montclair, wow.
Very good.
I was born in Patterson and raised in Wyckoff.
All right, stop it, you guys. Stop it. We're talking to Liz
Got a
Ryan.
Jersey contingent.
Liz Ryan, Human Workplace. Check out the website.
I wondered why Jersey Mike's was on today.
That's right. There's no reason. There is no reason whatsoever why a company should add what you call infrastructure, and that, of course, is what they call it in terms of the human resources side, and policies and rules and restrictions. We call them Mojo Blockers. All the policies, all the red tape, all the garbage, all the not trusting, all the 15 approvals to get anything done, all the restricting people in using the brains and the pluck and the talent and the instinct that God gave them. Why? That's exactly what could power our organizations, is their faith and their passion for the business, for taking care of the customers at Jersey Mike's, for example. If it's fun, if they like it, if they look forward to going to work, obviously it's going to be good for the business. And there is no reason whatsoever why, as a business grows or matures, it has to become crusty. But that's what happens because management teams fear. They do not trust themselves to hire people under them that they can trust. And that is 100% of it. Because if there were more trust in the individual executives themselves, I'm talking about, they would not need all those policies and rules and restrictions and mojo blockers that actually hurt their customers, help their competitors, and hurt their shareholders and stakeholders every single day.
Wonderful. We're all nodding our head in the studio. You're listening to KHTS Job Talk 1, heard all across America. Go to jobtalk1.com. Soon we'll be syndicated. Soon we'll be on every single day of the week all across America. So on the website, humanworkplace.com, what is your favorite part of the site? What is your favorite part of the site?
Oh, you got me. Honestly, I don't go on the site. I mean, I hope we've done a great job on the site. It's our business as a publishing, coaching, and consulting business. So I'm a keynote speaker, and I write for LinkedIn and Forbes and Yahoo and whoever. So our message getting out there is that every single organization can be a human workplace. It's free. You don't have to buy any software. You just soften the energy and begin to dismantle this apparatus of fear and control and hierarchy and policies that we affectionately call Godzilla, after the Blue Oyster Cult song, Godzilla. I'm sure you know that song, right? Oh, no. There goes Tokyo, goes Godzilla, right? From the 70s.
Absolutely.
Godzilla, because it is this crusty, scaly sort of mascot of all of this garbage, sludge that has built up in organizations that we say is necessary. It's not at all necessary. It's not at all necessary. It's not even good business. Maybe it was good business in 1835 when the Industrial Revolution was going strong, but now we're in the knowledge age, and we hire smart people who are creative. And if we're not smart enough to hire great, creative, self-actualized people, the shame on us, right? Not them.
Too bad you don't have any passion for what you do. Liz Ryan, Human Workplace. Tommy wants to ask you a question.
You know what? You have such great resources, too, on your site. And one of the things that I'm curious about is what do you find the most popular? What do you see people
She won't answer it. She's not even been on her own website.
Well, no, the resources
herself.
herself.
I'm going to answer the question. Among job seekers, it's our courses, our virtual courses, like Get the Job You Deserve and, break the rules and get hired and all that stuff, interviewing with Mojo and launch your consulting business. It's all about helping people get altitude on their own careers and not feel like victims of circumstance. Like, I have to twist myself into pretzel shape so that employers will like me. No, baby. Don't you twist yourself into any shape except your own. And if they don't get you, they don't deserve you. That's what we teach job seekers. For the employers who work with us, it's build a human workplace. There's a million good business reasons to do that. It's good for your competitive marketplace. It's good for sales. It's good for everything. It just takes stepping into trust and away from fear. And that, ironically, turns out to be the hardest thing. For managers, they say, no, we need this forecasting system. We need this infraction system. We need to write people up and put them on probation. What they don't realize is that they are saying that they need fear, the fear of getting in trouble or getting fired to run their business. And frankly, you guys, that's pathetic.
Well, you're taking my breath away. You're so smart. You got to come back. I mean, you got to be a regular. The show is called Job Talk 1. We're going to be on over 200 radio stations, girl, all across America. Our very special in-studio guest, Steve
Julius,
the owner of Jersey Mike's right here in Southern California. Jersey Mike's. You ever had a Jersey Mike's sandwich?
I sadly have not. You need to bring one to Boulder, Colorado, and I will be right there.
We don't have any Jersey Mike's
in Boulder, but we do in Denver area, and they're a terrific organization out there.
Have to get down there.
All right.
Was there actually a Jersey Mike?
Was there a Jersey Mike's? That's what Liz is.
Oh my gosh, absolutely there was, and I could talk for a long time about the story.
But you're not.
I'm not. But there was an original Mike's Subs located in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, a little shore town that was just active in the summertime. And a real quick comment: there was a young man working at that store. He was 17 years old, worked for Mike at Mike's Subs because he would hire a lot of the young people at the schools there. And Mike said, I'm going to go retire, and he put up the store for sale. And that 17-year-old young man said to Mike, he said, I'll buy it. And Mike said, really? And so he went to his high school football coach, who was also the local banker, borrowed the money for his first loan, and Jersey Mike's hit over 1,000 stores last year. So I give a lot of credit to yes, it's an amazing story.
Food. It's not a franchise. I don't know what you call it.
No, it is a franchise, but I'll tell you, it's an amazing company.
But it's not a fast food restaurant.
No, it's not a fast food restaurant.
What's also amazing, 1956? Is this when?
1950 is when it was opened in 80s.
The original one.
Right,
so
in Point Pleasant.
Since then, I mean, so it's...
Liz Ryan, let me ask you a question. We're talking to Liz Ryan, Human Workplace. Check it out. So I asked Steve this question. What not to do in the workplace? What not to do? So I wrote his answers down. I'm going to write your answers down. What, if you were talking to a group of managers or employers, what would you say to them about what not to do in the workplace?
Boy, oh boy.
Great question,
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say do not let that Godzilla structure that I mentioned earlier silence who you are, because we're people first. We wake up in the morning as ourselves, not as our business card. And we got to bring our own integrity and our own values to work every day. If we don't, it's not just a disservice to the people who work for us, but it's a disservice to ourselves. And your body, by the way, will rebel, because it happened to me. I threw my back out and ended up in the hospital because the job that I was in 15 years ago was just not me in any way. And I was faking it, and I was playing a part at work every day, and millions of people do go into work basically with a costume and a script, and they play the part, and they say it's okay because I get the money and I can pay my bills and it's all fine. It's not okay. We only get one lifetime as far as I know.
Okay, so that's one. Bring your own values. What's two?
Things not to do at work. I would say don't let the status quo intimidate you. Speak up and say, something needs to change. If you have data, if you don't have data, we have an over-reliance on data and analytics. I love it. I love big data and what we can learn, but we got to trust our gut.
All right, that's a good one. Steve, you employ quite a few people. what Liz Ryan just said really makes I employ a lot of people too. What she just said really, I would rather have an employee come to me and speak up rather than patronize me like they do. Look at me, I'm tall and I'm handsome, and they're constantly, anyway, what do you think about, how do you get any employee to speak up, Steve?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to what Liz said about the people themselves and not having this monster Godzilla. You have to, as a manager, as the owner, you have to know your people. You have to know them by first name. You have to know something about them. It doesn't have to be an extensive knowledge, but I want to be able to go to, and whether we have 5 employees and now we're over 100 employees, to know something about each one of them and know them as a person and not just as an employee. So I think that's a critical component. The other question you had asked, I'm sorry?
I forgot.
Yeah.
Hey, Liz, will you come to California, do a workshop with you and Steve? You would be fabulous. Do you do workshops in front of people?
Fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You and Liz, a couple of Jersey nights.
I like workshops. Yeah, definitely.
No, I mean, here's what I don't get. Tommy, this goes to you too. I don't get that most of these employers are stupid. I don't get that they don't have an understanding of what the three of you understand. I don't get what's going on in the HR world that fear drives the workplace. And what you said earlier, Liz, I'm taking copious notes, is that you have to build trust. The employee has to trust the boss, but the boss has to trust the employee. So I'm going to shut up, let each one of you answer. What is going on that we have a situation where there's no leadership that I see in the everyday workforce? Let me start with you, Liz, and then I'll go around the room. Liz, you first.
Well, I've written a ton about leadership. And what's really interesting when you talk and you speak and you get upset about leadership, the way that you said, like, where is the leadership, is that people say, oh, well, a CEO these days, especially in a large organization, isn't supposed to be a leader. They're a business person. They're supposed to worry about the dollars and cents. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. You could have an accountant working in an office with the door closed if you just need a finance guy. If you're not a leader, step down from the freaking CEO position, because it's a leadership position. It's the top leadership position in the firm. This show on TV, Undercover Boss, it's an abomination. Because if you're the boss of the company and nobody knows who you are, such that you could walk in incognito, you need to step down. You are no kind of leader, because people know who their real leaders are in the country, in a company, any kind of organization. That's pathetic again. I say fire your PR person and fire yourself if you show up on this program, Undercover Boss, and you see what I'm saying. So one of the reasons, apart from the structural, the fact that we all sort of lean on Godzilla and say, well, I can't, the policy won't let me, it's not my fault. We do that because it assuages our fear and makes us feel like we're not being a scumbag, when indeed we are being a scumbag and being untrue to our own personal
Steve wants to jump in.
Well, you mentioned leadership, Liz, and I think that's important, because I tell the staff that leadership has nothing to do with the job title. You can be the lowest person on the rung, but leadership is something that you exude and provide to the entire organization. And you don't do it for the recognition. You do it because you care, and you're in an environment that makes you want to care and allows you to be yourself. And I think that I try to have all of our employees feel that they all individually have a voice in what we do as an organization. When we have meetings, I want to hear from them and what things would work for marketing, what things should we do differently in the store, because they're the ones that are on the front line and they have the opportunity to give me some very valuable input.
It's sad. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with our wonderful in-studio guest, Steve. Steve, how would he say it?
I forgot.
Steve. The owner of all the Jersey Mike's here, and our wonderful guest. Hopefully she'll come back many times and I'm trying to get you to be on our cast. Liz Ryan of the Human Workplace. Of course, my partner Tommy Cairns hasn't said much today because we have these two great guests. Going to come right back. Our show brought to you by Lisa's Tax Service. Don't forget, she can represent you in front of the IRS. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I know that's my old business of life that I've been on for years. Something happened, Justin. We can't get the new Job Talk 1 music back on. We will next week. A wonderful guest. Hopefully she'll come on many times on our daily show. HumanWorkplace.com is the website. Her name is Liz Ryan, and she has one of the biggest followings, ladies and gentlemen. So she's the real deal. When you have over 1 million people following you, And if you've been listening to the show, she's smart, Steve. She's smart, and she gets it. And my partner Tom Cairns and I are so blessed to have you on the air with us. So let me talk to you about what I read in USA Today. I think it was yesterday or maybe this morning. I think yesterday, is that Massachusetts is the first state to say to an employer, you can't check somebody's background. You can't check somebody's employment background when it comes to their payroll. And that's crazy. I mean, this is the part, I don't want to get into politics. We don't do politics on the show. But, this is where the overreach of government this is absurd, that you're now taking the ability of an employer to ask certain questions to find out about, look, we're entrepreneurs. This is what drives this country. I'm on my soapbox now, Tommy. This is what drives our country is guys like Steve and myself that are independent guys that we take all the risks. We have no parachutes, and we hire people, hundreds of people. Don't take away from us, Liz, this ability to find out what you are getting paid.
No, what's overreaching is employers thinking that they deserve that information. That's ridiculous. You pay people what you think they're worth. You have a wage, you can put it on the front door of the store, or you can put it on the front of your website, and you can say, this is what we pay. What's really horrendous is that employers for years have refused to put their salary ranges in their job ads. That would make it a self-selection deal where people could apply for the job if they're willing to work for that salary, or they could pass it by. Employers try to keep their cards close to the vest and say, well, you can find out maybe when we make you an offer what we're willing to pay, but in the meantime, we need to know what you got paid at your last job. It's none of their business. It's no way is that any of your business. Why not ask me who I sleep with? Why not ask me what I had for dinner last night? That's the overreaching right there. And I think what Massachusetts is doing is great. I wrote a story for Forbes last night saying maybe Massachusetts will lead the way. Not been appropriate. It's like economic bullying. Okay,
we don't have time to go at it, but you and I are going to go at it maybe next week or the week after, because I totally disagree with you. Steve, what do you think?
Well, it's if you buy anything that I'm saying, then you got to buy the idea that employers who believe that they can use the might of their economic power to get people to do things that they would not ordinarily do. Nobody has a right to know what you are earning except maybe your spouse or your sweetheart. It is not appropriate for employers. If you can't figure out what somebody's worth and what you want to pay them based on their background and your conversation, then sit down. You don't deserve to have a business.
But at the same token, you can't allow the government to tell you what you should pay your employees.
You absolutely can. You don't believe in minimum wage?
I don't believe in minimum wage one bit. Not at all.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
we're going to just disagree about that.
If
you don't feel that I'm not going to pay, as a taxpayer, I'm not going to pay taxes to give food stamps to somebody who works for you that doesn't earn enough to buy groceries. Okay, that's how I feel about minimum wage.
Yeah, but shouldn't the economic environment and your business be able to dictate? Shouldn't your own value and what you provide to your customer be able to dictate what somebody should be paid? I mean, certainly, I think.
Do you think that people should be legally paid what will qualify them for food stamps in their town, paid for by you and me and other taxpayers?
But I think that's an extreme, though, because now I'm going to be forced to pay $15 an hour is going to become... Go ahead.
I'm not going to talk dollars and cents because that's a completely different issue, but where I come down on minimum wage is very simple. If my tax dollars are going to go to paying you benefits, government benefits, because your employer doesn't pay you enough to live on, then the employer is leeching off of me and the rest of the tax-paying population.
Her name is Liz Ryan. She's going to be... Will you promise to come back, because it's such a big subject. We only have a minute left, but it's such a big subject. But I just want to... I have to defend Steve here because we're both entrepreneurs, and here's what I want to say, is that...
And I'm an entrepreneur, too,
But the marketplace, Liz, the marketplace should dictate everything. When the government...
And just get rid of all government agencies. Get rid of the EPA. Get rid of all
Amen, girl. You're preaching to the wrong... preaching to the wrong guy.
Why not just have diamond mines where people die in their tracks? Why not just go back to the mills of the 1900s? I mean, people made money. That is not a human workplace. That's the opposite of the vision. That's predatory, and it's using people as a means to an end, which is immoral and unethical in every religion and every value system in the world.
But doesn't this go back to your comment about trusting the employer and trusting your employees to be able to...
Yeah, when they deserve your trust, when they show you they deserve your trust, and you don't show that you deserve somebody's trust when you say, I need to know, in order to continue to consider you in this hiring process, I need to know your personal information what you got paid before. That is lame. It's unprofessional. It's the opposite of leadership, and it's overreaching.
But now in California, we're not even allowed to ask about their criminal background if they have one.
God bless.
We're out of time, but we're out of time. But you're a great radio guest. I would love to find a way, and I'll get Steve back maybe in a couple weeks. Find a way to reach a compromise. This is where we have to figure out how to work together to find solutions. So even though we disagree, I love what you said today, Liz. Ryan, human workplace. She's got passion, she's got heart, and you know what? She cares. And I love somebody that cares, because those are the kinds of people we can work to solve problems. God bless you. Keep going, girl. Keep going. I'm going to have you back.
Thank you.
Many
Thanks,
times.
guys.
Liz Ryan. All right,
thanks,
so we'll see you very soon on the show we call Job Talk 1. Steve, you will be back for sure. Tommy Cairns, love you, brother. See you down the road.